Your life is full of enemies, whether you know them or not. Every single person in their life, they're going to have enemies. They're going to have people that are quote unquote naysayers. They're going to have people that root against them, people that want to see them fail. They want to watch them fall. You're always going to have people that are going to perceive you as the bad guy. And they're going to pray as hard as they can for you to fail when you're trying your hardest to succeed. But what if I told you that out of all those enemies, none of them can compare to your greatest enemy? Who might that be? Simple. The greatest enemy that you will ever face is yourself. I think I speak for everybody when I say that the hardest thing sometimes for us to do is to truly convince ourselves that we're just as good as everybody else perceives us to be. Just as good as our friends and family make us out to be. Just as good as they tell us that we are. But the hardest person to convince is always ourselves. To quote the cliche line, we're all our own worst enemy. We're our own worst critics. Nobody's harder on you than yourself. Nobody's harder on us than ourselves. This is just a fact. I'm going to list 3 reasons why we are our own worst enemy and why a lot of times we stop ourselves from reaching that proverbial finish line that we're desperately trying to get to. Number 1, we're trapped in our intrusive thoughts. I want to paint a scenario. A young kid's on his way to take his driving test. This is his 4th attempt at taking this test, and he's really hoping to pass. Everyone from his friends, his family, his parents, everyone, he's been working with all of them, and they've been telling him, you know what? This is going to be the day that you do it. This is going to be the day. You can do this. We believe in you. He starts trying to pump himself up. Now he's on his way to take the test. But right when he gets there, he gets nervous. He starts shaking. His heart starts pounding. He starts sweating. He's almost having a panic attack because he's remembering the last 3 times that he took that test and failed every single time. Eventually, the thoughts get so dark, the thoughts get so heavy that they start going from his heart to his brain, and they start programming him into telling himself, you know what? What's the point of taking this again? I'm just going to fail again like I failed the last 3 times. This is an example of our intrusive thoughts taking over. A lot of times we allow our intrusive thoughts to really take over us to the point where it clouds our real life judgment. It warps our interpretation of or depiction of reality to whereas the thoughts get so deep that they go from cerebral and mental to realistic. We're no longer thinking about failing. We're no longer thinking about losing. Now we start convincing ourselves that we're going to lose. You convince yourself that you're going to fail before you even make any real attempt at whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. You see a girl that you really like. You go to ask her out, but then you start thinking about all those times that you got rejected before. And the time before that, and the time before that. And they get so heavy that you suddenly stop yourself from finding the potential love of your life. This kid stopped himself from potentially getting his driver's license and being free and having a car and having a sense of freedom. Intrusive thoughts, in layman's terms, can stop you from truly being free to be who you truly are, to reaching your full potential. Now keep in mind, obviously, that none of us can truly control our thoughts. This is a fact. But also remember, you don't have to let your thoughts control you. The minute you have a dark thought like that, you have to tell yourself, you have to remind yourself that this is a thought. This is something that's playing out in your head. And what plays out in our head is way different than what plays out in reality. You may think that you're going to strike out with that girl that you're about to ask out. You might think that you're about to fail that driving exam. You might think that you're going to fail that job interview. But just remember, these are thoughts. And that's what you have to tell yourself. These are thoughts. Your thoughts do not control your reality. You do. And the minute you realize that, the minute you understand that an intrusive thought is nowhere near a threat to you, as long as you don't allow it to be, as long as you remind yourself that it's just a thought, a figment of your mental imagination. The minute you remind yourself of that, that's the day that you truly become one step closer to achieving any of your goals and dreams. Number 2, we chase time rather than use it. A Japanese sci-fi writer by the name of Yasutaka Sutsu once said, "Time waits for no one." He wasn't wrong. But I think a lot of us take this to epic proportions. I feel that the older a lot of us get, the more we find ourselves chasing time. Whether it's lost time or the little time that we feel we have left. Here's a reality for you. Every single human being on this earth is on borrowed times. We don't truly know how much time we have left on this earth. Whether you're 100% healthy or you're unfortunately been struck with an illness, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're sick or healthy. Every single one of us is on borrowed times. Anything can happen to any of us within 24 hours. Anything can happen to us within 24 seconds. That's how time works. Time is unpredictable. Anything can happen within any amount of time. But I feel that this scares a lot of us. So a lot of us find ourselves chasing time. We chase the time that we feel we don't have, or the little time that we have, rather than taking the time to just use it. Making use of the time that's given to you. None of us know how much time we truly have. But all we can truly do is make good use of the time that's given to us. Time goes hand in hand with life. And by that I mean this. Time and life are both gifts that are given to us every time we wake up in the morning. You ever hear the saying, every day above ground is a good day? That means that every time you wake up, you are given more time. You are given more life. So treat time like it's life. Appreciate it. Don't chase it. Why are you chasing something that you already have? There's no point in that. You see how that doesn't make sense? Every day you wake up, you're given life. Every day you wake up, you're given time. So what are you doing chasing and reaching for a gift that has already been given to you? Don't chase the things that you already have, because there's no need for it. There's no need to chase a gift. There's no need to constantly pursue a gift. All you have to do with these gifts is make good use of the time and the life that you have. Make good use of the gifts that you have. You do that, I promise you, that will truly determine the legacy that you leave behind when your time is up, when your life is up. If you take anything from this video, take this quote right here. The time that you might have wasted holds no value to the time that you have left. You still have time. So don't chase it. Use it. Finally, number 3, constantly comparing yourself to others. Here's a little story about 2 men. One name's Mike and one name's Tom. Mike has lived a very successful life. He's married, he's got 3 kids, he's the vice president of his company. He worked hard, and he's prospered very well. He's almost what you would call a success story. All of his friends love him, his friends admire him. People strive to be like Mike. And then there's Tom. Now, Tom and Mike worked equally as hard. They both had the same upbringing. They worked just as hard to get to where they are. But where Tom got and where Mike got are 2 different sides of the spectrum. Whereas Mike's hard work paid off, Tom's not so much. Tom is living in a 1-bedroom apartment. He can barely pay his rent. He's on his second divorce, which he's still paying alimony. He just got demoted at his job. Tom's not doing so well. Let's just say that. Tom looks at Mike. He grows envious of Mike. He starts looking at Mike and he asks himself, you know what? Me and Mike work just as hard. What does he have that I don't? Why does he get all the luck and I don't? Why does he get the wife, the kids, and the white picket fence and the dog? And here I am paying alimony and child support where my wife is living in my house with the man that she left me for. And here I am scraping and clawing just to make ends meet, just to keep my head above water. What does Mike have that I don't have? This is an example of constantly comparing yourself to other people. That's what Tom's doing. And a lot of us are like Tom. A lot of us have been guilty of what I would like to call Tom syndrome. We've all compared ourselves to a person at one point or another in our lives. Why are they winning and I'm not? Why are they getting all the luck and I'm not? Why is she prettier than me? Why is he getting all the girls and I'm not? Why does he have the nice car when I'm driving the hoopty? Why is he winning when I'm losing? We start comparing. We can't stop comparing. It goes hand in hand with intrusive thoughts. Because as we compare ourselves, we start telling ourselves, convincing ourselves that that person is better than us. This guy's better than me because he has more than me. That chick's better than me because she has more than me. They have more money than me. They have better looks than me. They have this, whereas I don't have it. We're not running our own race. This is where we find ourselves running another person's race. We find ourselves trying to live other people's stories. Now, whereas Mike and Tom both came up the same way, Mike and Tom had two different stories. Mike and Tom are running two different races. Mike and Tom are not the same person. So why should Tom compare himself to Mike? Mike's not comparing himself to Tom. The difference between Mike and Tom is Mike constantly runs his own race. Mike's not worried about what everyone else is doing. Now you might be saying, yeah, well, that's because Mike has it all. But what if the roles were reversed? What if in some alternate universe, Tom had it all and Mike didn't? Integrity is everything. Self-integrity is everything. Running your own race is everything. No matter how much you lose in life, no matter how much you're failing, if you can wake up every day and lift yourself up by your bootstraps, quote unquote, and tell yourself, you know what? I may lose today, but I'm going to win tomorrow. Today was a bad day. Tomorrow's going to be a good day. I'm going to continue to run my own race. I'm going to continue to wake up every day and do what I have to do to get to where I need to be. I'm not worried about anybody else. I'm not worried about what the world thinks. I'm not worried about how much the world is winning. I'm worried about, when am I going to win? When am I going to reach the end of my race? That is how you stop comparing yourself to other people. That's when you stop comparing yourself to other people and tell yourself, you know what? Let them win. Congratulations. Let them win. Now it's my turn to win my fight. They finished their story. It's my turn to finish mine. Mind over matter. You have to have this mentality. You have to stop chasing time. You have to stop letting your intrusive thoughts take over you, and you have to stop constantly comparing yourself to other people. Because most of the people that you're comparing yourself to, they don't know what you're going through. They're not worried about what you're going through because they're worried about what they're going through. They're worried about their story. They're writing their own story. You should start writing yours. If you've reached the end of this video, I want you to do something for me. I want you to go find your nearest mirror. I want you to stand in front of that mirror. And I want you to tell yourself 3 things. Number 1, I am not my intrusive thoughts. Number 2, I am going to use the time that is given to me. And last but not least, I am done comparing myself to other people that I don't even know, that don't even know me. They're finishing their story, I'm going to finish mine. And with that, I will say this. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new to my channel, don't be a stranger. Hit the like button, subscribe, and share. And in case nobody else tells you, I'll tell you. I love you, and I'm proud of you. Keep it up.